Sitting on the start line at Höljes, it's such an iconic track. You've got a bit of acceleration and then you've got a fast right-hander. It's up over a crest. Coming up over, you've got a jump, the first of 2 jumps on the track. You need to angle the car a little bit to the right over it. You can't actually see where you're going to land as you come up to it. Then the track changes from tarmac to gravel. You've got a long left-hand corner. You need to take quite a lot of curb. The car really gets up quite high on that. It's quite slippery, so you're managing your braking efficiency through there. Slowing right down, you have a tight right-hander. It's almost a little bit tighter than you think. Don't use all the track. You want to then move back out to the right so you get a really nice entry into the long left-hander of the velodrome. It's quite banked. The exit's also really important to carry speed through and out, because then you have a long, fast part of the track. You have this really cool left-hand corner that goes up over a crest. As it goes over the crest, it just tightens a little bit. It's flat out. You're trying to be a millimetre from the armco as you go down there. And then you don't have long to get the car straight, sorted out, a bit of a brake, and then into a fast right-hander. Power over the jump. As soon as you land on the brakes, coming in quite tight to the last corner. Turn back on yourself and then across the finish line.
Do you want a tea or a coffee?
I'd love a tea, thank you.
Tea, of course. You're a tea girl.
I'm a tea girl.
Yeah. To find opportunities and seat times in motorsport can be tricky. The further in your career you go, you want to try different things, and it's not as easy as any football or anything. You just can go out and do it. It takes a little bit more work to find that time to actually do your sport. And some milk.
Thank you.
Free.
Always have good milk in Sweden.
Yes, I think so. We are a big milk drinker in Sweden. Our journey together, me and Kenneth, started back in '89, I would say, when we got together, and I moved here to Götene. And you know, as a grassroots driver, you have to do everything. So it was finding the money, driving the truck, cooking, and be a mechanic, and managing all those things as you have to do when you're an amateur and starting in very low level. And that's how I also got to learn all the sides of running a team. So now, 30 years later, I'm a team manager, and basically I do more or less the same, but just maybe overlook it a bit more. And how is it to come back to Sweden, to Höljes, and now you're driving?
Yeah,
What about that?
It's so nice to be back here. We spent some time here last year, and it's my dream to have a workshop, something like this. So it's pretty cool just to walk around. And I went to Höljes exactly 10 years ago. It was the first time I ever saw rallycross. So it's,
I remember you.
Yeah, I never, I mean, I always wanted to do it, but to be going back, and of all tracks, to be going back to Höljes is pretty special. Yeah. I actually went to Höljes in Sweden in 2014. I met the Hansens. You know, they're rallycross gods, so for me it was all very inspiring. And then I remember sitting down in the stands to watch the first supercars race, and it completely blew my mind. It's like watching the highlights of a really, really intense race, but that's the whole race. 10 years later, the opportunity has come to be able to do some rallycross and be back competing at Höljes. Rallycross is so new to me. I feel like there's still so much to learn, and then to go to a track where it's, you know, it's the mecca and everyone grew up on, and it's kind of like really in the deep end. But at the same time, yeah, just taking a moment to appreciate how special this is. Seat time is so critical in motorsport. You need to have access to the car, the equipment, the resources, the opportunity to be able to learn, and it's not a skill that we're born with. You only get better by practice. So it's absolutely critical, and to get those opportunities and make them happen is probably the hardest thing about motorsport. You know, I watch so many rallycross videos, and as much as you watch and plan in your head. If this was, I was in this situation, what would I do? And then you get in it, and then it's just like, what just happened? And I think you've got to go through it, and you've got to get it right, and then you've got to make some mistakes and do all of that. And then when you're in the race as well, you have to get everything right.
So Hansen Motorsport has existed for over 30 years now, and Kenneth has made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes, and learning from those mistakes has also brought us forward. And we know that coming into the motorsport with nothing in your pockets, it's a long way to walk, and it's expensive to do all these mistakes. Rallycross is a bit about doing perfection. It's a quite unforgiving sport in that sense, because it's very intense. You need to every detail right. But and making experience is part of that. It's part of the learning curve. We wanted to give a platform, to create a platform where young drivers could have a place where they have that support of people having done those mistakes, and hopefully also know that they are safe with us, and it's a learning process. I'm so proud to see you out there and doing what you do, and I wish I had you back in the days when I was racing. And imagine all the young girls sitting there on the grandstands. I mean, you can actually start to dream of their own. I know it would have meant a lot to me, and now talking as a woman, seeing Molly doing so well, it makes me so proud. Yeah, that's where we're heading for the future.
How was that? Yeah, still is hard to keep left. The first lap was full right. I don't know how the regen is helping. Like it seems to, like in turn one, I locked the fronts way more than twice. I just went straight on. For me, coming from Australia, obviously to be competing in Europe and internationally, it's not like I can just have a car in my shed and work on it myself. When I have the time over here, you know, you're trying to outsource everything, and that can be quite challenging, and you don't have all your support networks around you as well. Then when you get in the car and you get those opportunities, you need to make the most use of that time. The long left, I think that's just a grip thing. Like one time I got it right and stayed in, but 2 laps I was like under-steering to the apex of the right-hander.
I think the thing is to carry the momentum, but that will help just by getting closer to the rail, and then get this, like you said, a little bit to the left so it's straight.
It's definitely not a straightforward process, but it really is the key. So being able to get access to those opportunities, make the most of those opportunities, and also to be able to teach yourself to be as fast a learner as possible.
So the cars are gridding up for the first of our semi-finals. Nils Andersson lines up on pole, Michaela Arlen-Kochelinski alongside him. And then row 2, we have Luigi in the white car and Molly Taylor in the red car.
It's a pretty nerve-wracking feeling to be on that start line. I think it's almost more nerve-wracking when you're in the pre-grid, where they're lining everyone up and you're putting your helmet on.
There are lots of rivers of water, and of course, that means the potential for aquaplaning. So conditions have changed a great deal from this morning.
It's kind of, I guess it builds, and then you get to this moment where it's kind of switches to this, right, I've got to get on with it now. I'm here now. Now we've got to put into action, and then just becomes this focus.
We're looking for the green, and we are go.
That's good, go, go, go.
Nils Andersson makes a great start, so does Molly Taylor from the outside.
That's good, find the grip here now.
Andersson leads from Kochelinski, Taylor in third, Luigi in the Joker lap, RX2E semi-final 1 is go.
I think then it's about the focus, but also having a bit of that like grit, like you really need to go out there and fight for something that you want. And that is the bit that I really love about rallycross, because it's really intense, and you kind of have to put yourself out there, and it's a bit of a battle of who wants it more. And I like to think that I'm quite stubborn and determined, and we get into those kind of competitions, I feel like I can prove that I want it the most.
Oh, Taylor's all out of shape coming into the jump. Taylor was all out of shape there.
Find the grip and use it. Yeah, now on the bumper, and then we go Joker lap.
Molly Taylor again in the Joker. This is where she's been making the mistake, and it's Luigi on the right-hand side. He's going to get this is going to be close. This is going to be close. There is contact, and Taylor's been wiped out there. Can Molly Taylor get the cut back? Luigi crosses in front of her, round the outside. It looks like that's job done.
Great move for Molly Taylor. She got such great drive out of turn 5 there, up the hill. But this is going to be Taylor through to the final behind Arlen Kotlinski.
I've never been so happy about a P3 in my life. There's so many different elements of rallycross and you don't get that many opportunities to get it right. So being able to be with a team like Yellow Squad, which have so much experience, I'm trying to learn everything for the first time.
Did he just overshot then the next spot? Like I was clear, he just then overshot the...
Yeah, I don't know if whatever. Yeah, what he did. He hit you in the corner.
Yeah.
And then he just went straight.
I was so lucky not to spin though.
Yeah.
I was like...
Gender equality is a key focus of Eon Next, and that's why it's such a perfect fit with our team and everything that we're trying to do to also bring that as one of the focuses of what we bring to motorsport. And I think having the opportunity to compete in rallycross is really a testament to what this partnership is all about, because it's easy to say it, it's a lot harder to do it. So it's very special for me to be able to be with a team like Veloce that has that focus, and the partnership with Eon Next. It really means that we can make the magic happen.
Good job, man. Nice hearing when I heard like, oh, well, finally out. It's like, yes. I made a great pass.
To be at your best in motorsport, you have to be surrounded with good people. That's simple as that. You're never better than the team you're in. It's such a team sport that you don't see it because they're often alone in the car. But actually, that comes with a bunch of people, and you need all that support to do your work. But as you know, being an athlete, an elite athlete, the most important support you can ever have is the one of your family.
Hey, Mum.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. I can't believe you guys haven't met yet. No. I didn't realise, yeah. My mum is a professional rally co-driver. She's won 5 Australian championships. So she's the most successful co-driver in Australia, male or female. So that's a pretty cool statistic. She's got the bragging rights at dinner still. I've got a bit of work to do to be able to pass her.
Now we're so excited to have Molly here for the race weekend coming up. So
yeah, I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and from what I've heard, Höljes is kind of the equivalent to the Australian Bathurst. It's that sort of motor racing venue.
She's been an incredible role model for me, because when I was growing up, that was her full-time job. And not only was she the co-driver, she was the team's logistics manager, she was the team's truck driver. So she was really, part of the fabric of that team in all different aspects. What advice have you got for me, Mum? What do you reckon the plan of attack should be?
You know what the plan of attack is. You don't need me to tell you. You just got to go out there and, get everything you can out of that car and drive.
Just like that. You're always telling me I need to believe in myself more.
I know, but Susan was here, so I was trying to not do you just have to believe, Molly.
We discussed it already.
I believe a lot in Molly.
When I started out in motorsport, yes, it's difficult, yes, you face obstacles, or all of these things, but I never once thought, oh, I'm a woman, these are all guys that I'm competing against. It's not a place for me, because I could see what was possible. So I think I have a lot to thank her for that.
You're at a place now where it's a very special venue, and there's probably only a limited number of people in the world that have ever or will ever have the opportunity to drive at that circuit. And here you are, so.
That's pretty special.
On the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was following, it felt quite alright. Like the first 2 laps felt quite okay. And then, the Joker was a bit of a mess. But then I just was getting a lot of
It's so important to keep talking about equality. I have no doubt whatsoever that motorsport is a place for both men and women.
So all being equal. Like if everyone gets the identical start, we come up here, I slot in behind 5. If I get a better start, my only other option is in front of 5 and behind. I can't
Maybe
do 2.
outside on the 4. Someone is going to back up.
Being a driver, you can contribute with so many things, and having a man and a woman racing side by side, that is what is going to happen in the future more often than we see today. And nothing makes me more happy than that, because a place in balance is a happy place.
The spotter for Nils Andersen has just popped his head in the commentary box and said, after all this work, now we're where you don't want to be, and he is 100% right, as we've seen in the last few semi-finals.
You're correct, Halridge. Pole position is not the place to be. Nils Andersen on pole in the pink and black car on the left of your screen.
I would not say my journey has been easy. No, that is probably the last word I would use to describe it. Worth it all, for sure, but it really has been everything for a huge amount of years, and a huge amount of years before it kind of came to any fruition.
We're already under starters' orders. Red lights going for another, well, it wasn't too long a hole, but Nils Andersen, he does get that car hooked up.
That's good. Find the grip here now.
Sjökvist getting it all out of shape. Now that is a disaster for him, and Nils Andersen will take that straight away.
It never gets to a point where you think, oh, I've made it. You know, you're always trying to be better. You're always fighting to find those opportunities, to bring those opportunities together. So it's, you know, it's relentless. You never sort of take your foot off the gas, to use a terrible pun.
Molly Taylor as well, capitalising on the issues of others behind her. She stayed out of trouble at the start when everyone else was getting it all crossed up. Oh, she locks up.
Oh, Sjökvist gets sideways as well. On the way in. Taylor's going to get going.
It's amazing. It's the most rewarding, but for sure it's the hardest thing that I've done as well.
That's good. One more lap. Come on, keep pushing. Joker lap.
And there goes Molly Taylor as well. Now this is going to play into the hands of Marko Muru. He is going to clear Taylor. He will not clear Arlen Kochelinski though. So it looks like it's going to be Nils Andersen, Michaela Arlen Kochelinski and Marko Muru, and Molly Taylor comes through for 4th, and considering where she was yesterday, Hal, I think she'll take that.
Motorsport's one of the only sports where men and women compete equally, and I think that's an incredible opportunity. So there's no reason from a physical perspective that it doesn't need to be 50-50. So, you know, historically it hasn't been, and we're trying to change that, but there's no reason it shouldn't be equal.
Oh, I'm really sorry about the joker. I don't know in my head, but myself, when you said it, I was like, oh no! And then I was like, why? How do I know better than you? I don't. That's a lesson for me.
Whatever you think you see, I probably see more.
Yeah, so that's my bad.
The outcomes overall are so much better when you have a more equal, more open, accepting environment and can bring more people in.
Oh, that was good. That was, I don't know, like proper in the...
Yeah.
Empowering women, I know, is the key for a sustainable world, a sustainable motorsport future. And the tide has changed. The tide has changed because women is growing as in numbers of drivers, engineers, mechanics, hospitality, everything. And it's a place for everyone to be.
I learned so much more than I thought. Yeah. Otherwise you're thinking you want to try, but you're not sure, and you don't want to make a mistake because you've only got this one chance. If you're with someone, you're like, it must be okay, so now I'll deal with it.
Just try to catch.
Yeah, I think too much, and then it's all bad.
I think for the future of motorsport, I would like to see more accessibility. I think for young boys and girls, both, and for that not to be really a question, for girls and boys to head to the track and not be a talking point of a female being there, that just to be the norm. I think that would be a pretty special thing to see.